I know. I just got to telling you that you can just write on Medium and be successful. And now I'm telling you about 4 tools you need to use. You don't need to use these. These are tools that I use pretty much every single time I publish on Medium. They're all geared around helping you just use Medium a little bit better. They're all totally optional. You don't need any of them. But if you're anything like me and you like organization, you like good grammar, you like using Medium to make money, not just from Medium, but elsewhere, and you like to understand your statistics a little better, these 4 tools will be great for you. Okay, let's get into the first one. Medium Enhanced Stats. Medium Enhanced Stats does a lot of really cool things. Mainly is that it takes the Medium stats page and makes it just a little bit richer, a little cooler, a little more informative. For those of you who don't know, Medium stats page is, okay, hang on, I'm getting my conspiracy theory hat. I have to assume it's intentionally opaque because there's no other reason I can think of that would make it so difficult to use. You have to dive into each individual story if you want to see the money. There's no way to compare month on month in a way that shows you if you're doing better or worse. It's annoying to use, and I assume Medium has done it intentionally to make it harder to game the system. I'm grateful to Medium for doing that, but I'm also kind of annoyed because I love data and I love stats. If you're like me and you just like to get a little bit more out of the stats when you use them, you should check out Enhanced Medium Stats. It's a Chrome plugin, it's free to download, and it's really easy to use. On your stats page, you'll see that you get the views, reads, read ratio, and number of fans, but it also tells you the number of people of claps and roughly how many times each person clapped per fan, not per flan. The neat thing that I really like is that it shows you how often you published as well. So you can see, okay, February 7th, I published twice and I've published a couple times since then. And recently they just did another update that shows you, this is the most useful thing, how many times people have viewed or interacted with your content today. And you can actually sort this by date. So if I go to today and I click on this, it takes forever because I've written over 500 stories. It'll show you in descending order what your most popular content of the day is. This is really useful because you can then say, okay, this story is clearly popping off. What I need to do is promote it so it'll pop off even more. So I might say, okay, check this out. This harmful myths that hurt cats. I'll tweet about it. Maybe I'll mention it in my newsletter. Something like that can really make all the difference in taking advantage of any algorithmic spike. And also, it's just kind of nice to know. Like sometimes you just have a random spike and you're like, what the heck? Where did that come from? This update for Medium Enhanced Stats will tell you. Medium Enhanced Stats also does another cool thing, which is it tells you a little bit about your milestones. So on Medium, sometimes it's easy to lose sight of the forest for the trees. Medium Enhanced Stats actually shows you, once it finishes loading, I'm actually still waiting. All right, I'll include a screenshot of this. It shows you your overall milestones. So lifetime on the platform, have you got 1 million views, 2 million? It's the kind of data that Medium doesn't aggregate, and it's really, really satisfying to see how far you've come, how close you are to your next milestone, and just things like that. It really makes being on Medium just a little bit more satisfying because you understand a little bit more about what you're seeing. The second tool I'm going to recommend you use is called Convertkit. Convertkit is a way for you to capture email addresses, and I use it pretty much everywhere. I have it on my website, I have it on my Medium bio. I used to have it on my Medium bio. I have it YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn even, I think. Convertkit is a place for you to host your email addresses that you collect and then email them. And it's free for, I think, up to the first 1,000 users. So if you're just beginning, you can try it out for free. And I paid $30 right from the start because I knew it was worth it. I'd heard so many amazing things. The really neat thing about Convertkit is that you can then say, okay, if people clicked on my story, if they signed up to my newsletter because of X, then I want to send them this content. If they signed up on Y landing page, I want to send them this other content. And this segmentation makes it really, really valuable and easy for you to give the right content to the people who are going to be most interested in it. It's also just very easy and user-friendly. So for example, I wanted to get people to sign up to my mailing list, and I wanted to incentivize them to do so by giving them a downloadable week-long Medium starter kit as well as an email set. So I gave people a link. I said, click here if you want to join my newsletter. You'll get this cool benefit. Clicking there led them to a landing page hosted. Hang on, let's see if I can find it. Okay, so starting over. The way I use Convertkit is I'll take you through the steps right now. So at the bottom of many of my Medium stories, I include a hyperlink that says, hey, click on this link, sign up to my mailing list, and I will send you my 5-day email course on how to make money writing on Medium. Somebody clicks here, and this link is hosted by Convertkit. I just say, Convertkit, I want you to tell people to go here, click this, put their information in here, and when they put their email address, I want you to send them this sequence of emails in this order on this timing day. That's all hosted by Convertkit, so it's super easy for beginners to use. And like I said, it's free for the first 1,000 subscribers you get, which is more than enough for you to start building a business. Today I use Convertkit to send people my newsletter. I use it to get coaching clients. I send people to my YouTube videos. I send people to my Medium stories. I use it to just share tips and thoughts with the world and build my relationship with my readers. I couldn't do it without Convertkit, and it's by far the easiest email list provider service that I've used or tried to use. The third tool I'd recommend is one called Grammarly. You've probably heard of it at least. One of my most popular questions is people saying, should I upgrade to the free version? I've never once upgraded to the free version. Sorry, the paid version. I've had the free version the whole time I've been writing on Medium, and I love it. It's because no matter how many times you read your story out loud to yourself, there's always a typo in there that catches you off guard. I think a lot of people don't realize how much typos affect your reader's perception of you. When I'm reading a book, when I'm reading an article and I see a typo that's glaring, it's obvious to me, even though the author might be a fantastic writer and they just might have, skipped over it or whatever. To me, that's a sign that the writer doesn't care that much about their craft. Whether that's fair or not doesn't matter. That's what people think when they see typos in your work. Grammarly just gives you a really easy way to run your work through a high quality editor, catch all of those big, obvious grammar mistakes, and just make your writing a little bit tighter, a little bit cleaner, a little bit neater without having to pay anything for it. I love Grammarly's free extension. I use it on my emails, Medium, everywhere. It does give you some suggestions that I would recommend ignoring. It tries to get you to write in the way that it thinks is correct. So I would definitely take advantage of their grammar checks. But when it comes to tone or anything like that, I would recommend you stick with what you feel is right, whatever works for you, whatever style you tend to write in. Maybe you write more academically, maybe you write more casually, maybe you like saying a lot 3 times in a row and that's just part of your style. Grammarly doesn't take into account personal style, so ignore the style suggestions, focus on the grammar. And finally, the fourth and last, I didn't know that this tool existed until way too late in the game, so I'm telling you now because you should know about it. When you're writing on Medium, the one thing you want to give to your readers above all else is value. That breaks down to a lot of different ways: good writing, interesting information, but it also comes down to ease of navigation. You want the work that you produce to be easy to consume, easy to use. So I want to show you an example of how I use the table of contents extension. Okay, here's a story, the 8 most popular coding languages of 2021. If you look at this, you'll see it's a 15-minute read. That is tough. If you're asking your readers to read something long, you want to make sure that they don't have to scroll for miles to find out if it's interesting or relevant to them. So what I did was I created a table of contents using the Chrome extension. I'll show you how to use it in just a second. You just basically click and then you add it in and it auto-populates. It's easy to format. I usually stick it in a code block just to make it easy for people to sort of differentiate from the rest of the story, but that's totally up to you. And in here, like, this navigates down to wherever the reader is taken to. So they're like, oh, that's why Swift is popular for that purpose. To use it yourself, you would go to Stories, write a story. Okay, example, table of contents. Okay, and this is how it works. It works by headings. So I have these big headings, A, B. These are my little headings. All right, and I want a table of contents. So I just go to the little plus sign here and I click the far right. When you download the Chrome extension, it automatically puts that in. And there's my table of contents. So you can't test it out, but the way it works is that it goes into the source code of the post, and it knows that this, in Medium's sort of page, when I publish this, Medium knows what part of that page it is because it's tagged 466D. So it does that automatically. What I normally like to do is I do 3 backticks to create a code block, and then I put this, I cut it, I paste it, And then I normally make the sort of bigger ones bold, just again to make it a little easier to navigate. And now if I were to publish this, each one of these would hyperlink to the relevant section. You can see that if you're building a body of work that is longer, that is maybe a little more difficult to parse, a table of contents can just make it easier, lighter, more relevant, more engaging, more interesting, and more valuable for your reader. And I know it sounds so silly, a table of contents, but when it comes to providing value for the reader, there's no step that's too far, and a table of contents is such an easy, simple, quick way to instantly deliver value to the people who take the time to click on your article. So that's my review of the 4 tools that I use pretty much every single day on Medium. Enhanced Stats lets me look at my analytics with a bit more comprehension. I understand what's going on with my numbers. I use Convertkit when I want to take my business off Medium. Medium is great for earning money, but it's even greater for earning money that isn't relevant, that isn't dependent on Medium's partner program, whatever. My newsletter lets me monetize in other ways. I use Grammarly because even though I love writing and I love reading and I'm a huge grammar nerd, sometimes you get those little ones that you just fling by and you don't want that to ruin your relationship with your readers. And finally, table of contents is what I use because it's the one way you can guarantee that you are providing a little bit of value for your readers right up front. It makes your work just a little bit easier to navigate and way more likely that they're going to bookmark it and come back to it time and time again to reference it, to read it again, to just get a little bit more use out of it. That's my list. I use a ton of other tools. If you want to know what else I use, definitely let me know in the comments. But these are the 4 that are like my go-to every single day users, and I love them. I don't know what I did on Medium without them before I had them. If you use these, if you've got different thoughts, if you want to know more about the different tools, let me know in the comments. I go through my comments every single Monday. I answer every single one, so you'll get your answer then. And I would also love if you like this channel, consider subscribing. The more subscribers I have, the more money I earn, which makes it way more likely that I continue to do this long term. Other than that, I just wish you a great rest of your week and a happy writing.